This is a clip from a recent Pops live stream or video. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss the next one.
All right. One thing, let me go back to this screen because that's where I was at. So one thing for sure is some things weren't that terrible. One thing that surprised me dramatically, I didn't do a full video on this, and I should have. I recommended it to you. You saw it, and you were like blowing up my phone with messages. Like,
yes.
I know. So,
yes.
Final Destination: Bloodlines is phenomenal. Like, it is. It's not like a little bit better than the other movies. It's significantly better than the original movies. And what I mean by that is the B plot to the horror slasher, it's kind of like gore fest type approach to killing people off with this mysterious figure, because it doesn't really have a villain. It doesn't really have a big bad. It's sort of like the mysterious death that's coming for you because you've cheated death. Mm-hmm. The B plot is about family in this sort of like genetic hierarchy of, oh wait, you cheated death. Death didn't get you in time to have a bunch of kids, grandkids, and whatever. So you have sort of like bloodlines. You have this massive heritage that death has to come after because it has to right the ship. And so it changes the dynamic in a very interesting way, because it's more about like, how can I save everyone I care about, not just dodge a rake or dodge a, a stray thing falling on something. So yes, all those things are there. So the people that love Final Destination and all the gore and all the crazy death, you're going to get all that. Yeah. It has a great disaster sequence, but it's so much more than, I think it just laid the groundwork to go forward because of, and we'll get to the spoiler at the end, but you text me, you like this too. You were shocked at how good it was.
I did. When you recommended that I watch it, I was more shocked in that factor because I never would look at this series and be like, my dad will totally love Final Destination, because it's just not one of those things that you're into. Mm-mm. So when you recommended it, I was like, okay, maybe it is worth a shot. And this franchise of films is my generation. Like, so it was launched originally specifically, and if you go through and you watch the originals, the things that these people go through are things that millennials do on the daily. Like, we're driving and there's a log truck in front of us, or we're going on roller coasters with our friends, or we're going tanning in a tanning salon. And so all of the ways that it impacted people, it impacted my generation. And this film did it even more. And then it still did all of the homages to the original films in the perfect way. And I think that it was a good mix of targeting original fans of the franchise, and then anybody that was just giving it a shot as a horror film. Maybe never even knew that it was a thing and just said, hey, this looks interesting, and went to watch it. It's a perfect mix of both. So I think in that sense, it makes the movie even better. Yeah, the way that it was adapted and changed for the story and the reasoning behind the deaths made it easier to kind of suck you in, and not just be like, if you looked down to like eat something, you were going to miss something. Like it was one of those, like, you had to keep your eye on the screen or you were not going to have an idea of what just happened. You were going to blink and you were going to miss it. And
it is fast paced. Yeah.
I think I told you.
Also short, right? Because it's less than 2 hours long. And it is definitely
it was crazy that it was able to have that strong of an impact in such a short period of time. I don't remember the length of time for the other films. I don't think I sat down and kind of compared and contrasted that, but I feel like despite the short length, it still had a stronger impact than any of the previous films did
ever. Yeah, and so folks, I'll make sure I try to put a link in the description for my Final Destination sort of breakdown of the other 5 movies. Just a brief recap was, I like 2 the most. I think 2 paid homage to number 1, and it was more about the structure of cheating death. So I don't care about any of the characters in the first movie. They kill off all of them, right? And then the other ones die off screen. So 2 is probably the best one, then number 1. And then it's just, I don't really care. So you have 3, 4, and 5. It's sort of like the roller coaster, the NASCAR race, and then the bridge sequence. There are positive and negatives to everything. The disasters are the best part. Some of the deaths are cool and gruesome and gory and crazy, but there's no real great character stuff. And they introduced a couple of ideas I didn't like. And in this one, I think what they kind of did was more like add to everything. which is always what the trick is. I think I have to give James Mealy credit for that. He is Sequential Treasures is sort of a comic book guru, and he says this is the best way to do, like, if you're finally getting to write Batman or Superman, you don't change everything. You find these little nuances to add to it, and he would illustrate different stories where, see, this is about the death of Martha and Thomas and the effect on Bruce in his childhood,
Mhm.
but it didn't change that any of that happened. It all stays in place. It's just another piece of trauma. It's another thing that can reflect back. That's what this movie did. It just added more to that. Because as far as we know, and again, I don't know about you, my brain went to, as far as I know, everyone in all of the other movies are descendants of these people impacted, descendants of grandma who survive, who leads the
Possibly,
surviving this
yeah,
tragedy. So in
yeah.
theory, everything in the other movies could have just been her and the other person's. Okay, and again, major spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, the little black kid that's saved is sort of like the major character that we see throughout the franchise, the little Mr. Death guy. Like you love that he is in all these movies. He is one of the cool. He kind of like pops up, and anyway, so the character's name is Bloodsworth, and you get more of that. You're like, it's a big reveal that he's this little boy. But that
Yes.
means that
Yeah.
all of his descendants and everything are now at risk because he would be after
Correct.
her death. So once all of her heirs are gone, it goes to him and all his heirs. So another whole movie can now pick up where this left off because it kind of fixed everything in the past. You and I were messaging back up before about this, and we were sort of like, man, this is really, really done well, or at least the right way to move forward.
Most definitely. I think the way that they are hitting you in this film, allowing us to know like a hint of what may happen in the next one, is what makes you excited for the next film. That's like the after credit scenes that you see in Marvel and all these movies. It makes you look forward to it. You have a little idea of what may happen, and then you kind of go through all of the what ifs in your brain, like, well, what if they do this, or what if they do this, and what if this ties in, and leading back to like what you said, where the previous films could all be linked to the circumstances. I think like I have a high mm, I don't know how to like best phrase it, but I think if we were to take that scene where she takes all of the pages out of the book and she puts it
Mm-hmm.
on the wall and she's doing the timeline of everyone's names that were in that
Yep.
accident and then all of their lines, if you pause that, I I think that if they really wanted to hit you, they would have all of the previous film characters
Mm-hmm.
connected to
Yeah.
all of these victims that ended up surviving that accident. I think that would be the best way to kind of make sure that everything is still staying connected.
That would have been interesting because you could have easily said, Alex and his parents were, and see, the argument's going to be, so that the diehard fans of the franchise will say the reason my theory doesn't hold up is because, like in the first movie, Alex and Clear and all that, so the kids died before their parents died, right? So that would mess up our theory in
Yeah,
some
it would
ways.
mess with the theory.
However, it feels like it's the right way to move forward. It feels like this is kind of what we do because you don't have to directly say anything about the previous movies. You don't have to do any what I'm saying. I said it just makes for good mythology and good fun.
Yeah, if
I
they
I
want to
got to
tie
be
it that
honest.
way.
I stand by the biggest thing too, and you and I've talked about this your whole life is as a critic. There's like the rewatchability. Like if you don't want to rewatch it again, how great is it? Like this, there are great movies I never want to sit through again. This is a solid movie that I love watching again. And I was shocked that I enjoyed watching. Like you said, you were surprised I even liked them.
Yeah,
And I didn't like them. I did not like most of them. And most of them
yeah.
have like a cool disaster scene and maybe a cool death scene here or there. But you were like, no, I do
Mhm.
not want to ever get into a tanning bed because I've seen Final Destination. I don't
Yep.
any crickety
Yeah.
crackety what on a roller coaster. My brain goes to Final Destination. I'm like, oh wow, that's
Yep.
crazy. So yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But if folks hadn't seen Bloodlines, you'd recommend it too, right?
Oh, 100%. I already have. I've
Yeah.
already recommended it. I don't and kind of like your situation and impact you had when you told me you watched it, I'm having that impact on other people because they're like, you don't even like those movies. I was like, I don't,
Mm.
but I loved this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think it was just different. The way that it was done, the premonition scene, all of this stuff and the way that it circled back. It's just very interesting to kind of see how it was done and written. And it, like I said, you can't look down. You have to pay attention or you're going to miss something. And it's going to be one of those situations where you have to kind of piece it together and realize all the small details and nuances that they put in this film. And even if it's the circumstances where you have, you're trying, like the other films had that side of it where you were cheering on the person to hope that they survived. Like you're like, yeah, I really
Mhm.
like, I hope that
Yeah.
this was a whole different thing for me. I was like cheering on everybody, like, oh man, I really like,
Yeah.
I feel like all the characters had an impact on you in some way, and it was just interesting to see how they did it. And um I think that overall in that sense, it made it to where um it made you hopeful and excited to keep going and keep watching. And it did enough of an impact to where it was a perfect amount of time. I can't imagine the movie being longer. I can't imagine it being shorter. I think it was exactly what it needs to be to have all of those nuances. But at the same time, it makes you intrigued to see, like, if they do have deleted scenes, what did they not include?
Yeah, I don't really want deleted scenes for this one. I like it. Like it's I almost feel like I don't want to rock the boat because I got a good one. And I got a good one like I'm willing to give it a
Yeah,
4, which for me is a lot. And a very
that's
strong
amazing. Yeah,
rewatchability.
I agree with that.
So 4 out of
Oh, yeah,
5, like an 8 out of 10 for me is a huge number for a
for sure.
generic slasher type movie like this,
Which I'm
especially
not,
anything that's modern.
yeah.
Yeah, enjoyed this one a lot. I'm glad you did too. And
Okay.
folks, if you guys out there, let us know what you think because I've been shocked by Final Destination Bloodlines. It surprised me, and
And
definitely one of my.
millennials, prepare yourself because it's just adding to our list of fears and
Mhm.
anxiety.
Yeah, the craziest one
uh,
was the rake on the trampoline. Like I felt I could just feel it happen, getting ready to
oh,
happen,
all of the parents are like, get the rake.
and then they redirect it. And you don't expect it, and I hate the fact that they spoil
Yes,
any of this stuff in trailers. And I think trailers have gotten terrible. Please, if you have
that's
remote
true.
if you have a remote
Don't
interest to see a movie in a theater, just don't watch any of the trailers. Just get a
true.
feel for it. Just don't watch. They ruin so much in trailers nowadays. So
Like,
if you are catching this as a clip, make sure you check out the link in the description there to watch the whole Popscast.